The precarious balance of power in the Middle East has been shattered. In a move that sent shockwaves from Washington to Jerusalem, Iran has officially received its first shipment of advanced J-10C fighter jets from China. The news, confirmed by intelligence sources on this day, the 7th of July 2025, represents the most significant upgrade to Iran's dilapidated air force in over 4 decades. This is not merely a military procurement, it is a bold statement of intent. Tehran, still reeling from the devastating losses it suffered during the brief but brutal conflict with Israeli and U.S. forces just over a year ago, is rearming with startling speed and with a powerful new partner at its side. In response to this dramatic development, the United States has not hesitated. U.S. Central Command, or CENTCOM, has immediately elevated its military alert level across the region. American surveillance drones and intelligence-gathering aircraft have intensified their patrols along Iran's borders, their electronic eyes peeled for any sign of these new jets taking to the skies. The message from the Pentagon is clear: we are watching. This acquisition fundamentally alters the strategic calculus, forcing American and allied military planners to reassess the threat landscape and prepare for a far more capable and unpredictable adversary in any future confrontation. For years, Iran's Air Force was considered a relic, a museum of aging American F-4 Phantoms and F-14 Tomcats from before the 1979 revolution, supplemented by a handful of outdated Russian and Chinese models. This vulnerability was cruelly exposed in the June 2024 war, where its air defenses were systematically dismantled. The arrival of the J-10C, a modern 4.5-generation fighter, signals a desperate and determined effort to close this capability gap. It is a direct reaction to that humiliation, a clear signal that Tehran will not allow itself to be so easily overpowered again, turning to Beijing after a promised deal with Moscow for Su-35S collapsed. The delivery of an initial squadron, with reports suggesting a total order of 36 aircraft, is just the beginning. The J-10C, nicknamed the Vigorous Dragon, is a quantum leap for the Islamic Republic of Iran Air Force. It introduces technologies and capabilities that Iranian pilots could only have dreamed of until now. The deal also represents a major geopolitical victory for China, which has successfully supplanted Russia as Tehran's primary military supplier. This strategic partnership is redrawing the alliances of the Middle East, creating new fault lines that are bound to generate friction and instability for years to come. So, what exactly has Iran acquired? The Chengdu J-10C is no second-rate export model. It is a highly capable single-engine multi-role fighter jet that stands shoulder to shoulder with some of the best Western aircraft in its class, like the latest F-16V Block 70 or 72. Its design, featuring a delta wing and canard configuration, gives it exceptional agility and maneuverability in a dogfight. This is a far cry from the lumbering, obsolete platforms that currently form the backbone of the IRIAF. The J-10C is a modern predator, built for a new era of air combat where speed, agility, and advanced electronics are paramount to survival and dominance. At the heart of the Vigorous Dragon's lethality is its advanced sensor suite. The jet is equipped with a sophisticated Active Electronically Scanned Array, or ESA radar. This technology allows the pilot to track multiple enemy targets at greater distances, and with a higher degree of precision than older mechanically scanned radars. It is also more resistant to electronic jamming, a critical advantage when facing technologically superior adversaries like the US or Israel. This ESA radar allows the J-10C pilot to see further and more clearly than any Iranian pilot has before, transforming situational awareness from a critical weakness into a potential strength. The true game-changer, however, lies in the weapons the J-10C carries. The jet is armed with the formidable PL-15 Beyond Visual Range air-to-air missile. With a reported operational range exceeding 200 kilometers, the PL-15 outranges the primary American missile, the AIM-120D AMRAAM. This means a J-10C pilot could theoretically detect and fire upon an Allied aircraft before the American or Israeli pilot is even aware they are under threat. This capability alone fundamentally challenges the air superiority that the US and its allies have long taken for granted in the region, forcing a complete rethink of aerial engagement tactics. The jet's reputation was significantly enhanced in May 2025, when the Pakistan Air Force, which also operates the J-10C, claimed to have used the platform to shoot down Indian Rafale fighters during a border skirmish. While details remain contested, the incident boosted the aircraft's credibility on the international stage. For Iran, acquiring a combat-proven platform with such advanced radar and long-range missiles is a strategic masterstroke. It provides a credible deterrent, capable of holding high-value assets, such as tanker aircraft and surveillance planes, at risk from a distance, thereby complicating any potential Allied air campaign against Iran. The arrival of Iranian J-10Cs has sent a palpable wave of anxiety through the capitals of its regional rivals, particularly Jerusalem and Riyadh. For Israel, which has relied on its qualitative military edge to conduct operations in places like Syria with relative impunity, the calculus has changed overnight. The Israeli Air Force must now contend with the possibility of facing an adversary armed with missiles that can challenge its F-35S and F-15S from ranges previously considered safe. This new reality is forcing an urgent review of tactics and a renewed push for even more advanced American weaponry to maintain its aerial dominance. Israel's response has been swift and decisive, though conducted away from the public glare. Intelligence services are undoubtedly working overtime to gather data on the J-10C's performance characteristics and electronic signatures. The Israeli Air Force is likely running complex simulations, wargaming potential encounters with these new Iranian jets. Furthermore, reports indicate that Jerusalem is accelerating talks with Washington to procure additional squadrons of F-35 Lightning II stealth fighters. The goal is clear: to ensure that no matter what new hardware Iran acquires, the technological gap remains wide enough to guarantee Israeli air superiority in any future conflict. For Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, the threat is just as profound. These Gulf states have invested billions in their own advanced air forces, primarily composed of American and European jets like the F-15SA and Eurofighter Typhoon. The presence of Iranian J-10Cs armed with PL-15 missiles now puts their critical infrastructure, oil fields, and cities within reach of a more potent Iranian air threat. This development is almost certain to trigger a new and more technologically advanced arms race in the Gulf, as these nations look to upgrade their own fleets and air defense systems to counter the vigorous dragon. The heightened state of alert raises the immediate and dangerous risk of miscalculation. The crowded airspace over the Persian Gulf, the Strait of Hormuz, and the Syrian border is now more perilous than ever. A simple airspace violation or a tense encounter between an Iranian J-10C and an American F-A-18 flying from a carrier could escalate with terrifying speed. With pilots on both sides operating on a knife edge, a single misjudgment or an aggressive maneuver could spiral into a shooting match, dragging the entire region into a conflict that no one wants but everyone is now preparing for. Ultimately, this story is about more than just advanced fighter jets. The J-10C deal is a physical manifestation of the tectonic shifts occurring in global geopolitics. It signifies the cementing of a powerful new axis between China and Iran, built on a foundation of mutual strategic interests and a shared opposition to American influence. After Russia proved to be an unreliable partner, failing to deliver promised Su-35S and S-400 systems, Tehran turned to Beijing. China, in need of energy and keen to expand its military-industrial footprint, was more than willing to step in, becoming Iran's most crucial strategic backer. This strengthening Sino-Iranian relationship presents a formidable challenge to the United States and its long-standing dominance in the Middle East. For decades, Washington has been the region's primary power broker and military guarantor for its Arab allies. Now, China is actively contesting that role, not just economically through its Belt and Road Initiative, but militarily by supplying one of America's chief adversaries with high-end weaponry. This forces the U.S. to contend with a peer competitor's influence in a region vital to global energy security, complicating its strategic focus and stretching its military resources thin. However, Iran still faces immense challenges. A fleet of 36 jets, however advanced, is not enough to single-handedly overturn the massive quantitative and qualitative superiority of the combined air forces of the U.S., Israel, and the Gulf Arab states. Furthermore, the IRIAF must now grapple with the monumental logistical task of integrating a sophisticated Chinese platform into an air force built around American and Russian technology. Creating new supply chains, training pilots and ground crews, and developing new doctrines will be a complex and costly endeavor that will take years to fully realize, giving its adversaries a window to adapt. In the grand chessboard of the Middle East, new pieces are on the board, and the rules of the game are changing. The arrival of the vigorous dragon in Iran is a symptom of this new era, one defined by multipolar competition and shifting allegiances. It signals a decline in undisputed American primacy and the rise of other powers willing to arm U.S. adversaries. The skies over Iran may be the immediate focus of tension, but the implications of this deal will be felt globally, heralding a more volatile and unpredictable future where old certainties no longer apply and new conflicts can ignite with little warning.